You already know what time it is. It's story time! Hey, what's up, my beautiful Glamazons, and welcome back to my channel for this week's story time. I'm sure you guys are wondering about what happened last weekend, but that's because it was Easter, girl. But don't worry, I am back and I'm here to make your weekend better than ever. This video is actually going to be in addition to my Pretty Petty series here on my channel, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorites. If you guys are new here to my channel, hey, what's up? My name is Nikki, and I go by Nikki Glamour here, and I like telling stories. I like doing weird videos. I like doing Ask Nikki videos. Would like to join my family, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, don't worry before you guys start asking a million times in the comments. There are additional videos coming out for my Host Stepsister Diaries series here on my channel as well. Enough babbling, we are here for story time. I hope you have your wine. I hope you have your snacks. Hold on, we need to talk real fast because I think I just found my new favorite snack. All y'all that know me know my favorite snack. What is it? Hot Cheetos and lemon juice. Everyone knows this about me, okay? I think I might be like kind of sort of cheating on my hot Cheetos. Obviously this isn't sponsored, but I wish. Pop Fuego, and it's from the makers of Takis. Have you guys tried these? What? Before filming, I was seriously just sitting here like, okay, one more, just one more. You guys gave me ojo. As usual, before we get into today's story time, today's glamour shot of the day is my gorgeous girl. Her name is Larissa Marie, and she sent me her Glamazon shot on Twitter using her hashtag Glamazon shot. She wrote me the sweetest message on Twitter, letting me know that she's been watching me forever, that I make her days better, and it's honestly stuff like that that just really makes what I do so worth it. And this is why I love what I do, and this is why I love you guys, and it's just all love here. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys. You guys know that I would not be here without you, and I could not do this without each and every one of you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now it's time for story time, girl. This series is basically going into the times that I have been less than a perfect person, less than a perfect friend, less than a perfect daughter, less than perfect across the board. I feel like so many people got this misconception that when I told my stories about my ex-stepsister, that I was somehow saying that I was just like this perfect person and girl. Oh no, absolutely not. These stories that are involved in my Pretty Petty series are going to give you a little bit more insight on the mistakes that I've made, why I did it, my petty ways, how I would have done it differently now, if I would have done it differently, have I grown in this area. It's gonna be a whole combo, okay? So make sure you grab your wine and grab your snacks because I'm trying to prepare you, girl. Okay, so this story takes place outside of high school. So many people get like really upset with me because they're like, oh, she talks about his high school. Yeah, girl, because that's literally when I was like the most ratchet. Like, y'all want the juicy stories? Teenage Nikki could have given you that every single day. Like, this story takes place when I was like 20, 21 years old. I was doing my thing. I had already got my car. I had already met David. Y'all already know this. Oil and gas is doing well, girl. My tea, okay? They got so much money. The oil and gas industry, like when they're booming, girl, like everybody just money, okay? Money. I interviewed for this position at this oil and gas company knowing this, and it was like a great year for oil and gas. So from the age of 17 to this point, which is 2021, I had already like done the entry-level stuff, but this job post caught my eye, and even though it was an entry-level receptionist position, girl, they were paying some good money, right? I went ahead and applied for this position, got myself an interview, met with the HR director, and ended up scoring myself the job. So during my interview, I was really honest, and I let her know I'm not interested in staying in this receptionist position. Like, I am overqualified for it, but if this is an entry into your company, then by all means I would absolutely love to be considered. Do you plan on having me in this position long term? Because that's not something that I'm interested in. I really needed to make sure that she and I were on the same page with that, because like, don't get it twisted, I don't need to be a receptionist for years and years and years. Ideally, I'd like to keep you in this position for a few months. 3 months tops. During that time, she said, I would like you to just start helping out in different departments, whether it's accounting, whether it's marketing, whether it's IT, whatever you're interested in. I will get you in contact with the department heads, what team you'd like to eventually join if it's a good fit. I was so happy to hear this. Like, this lady was giving me an opportunity of a lifetime in my mind, because it's really hard to get into the oil and gas industry, especially without at least a master's. And like, she's allowing me to basically get my feet wet in different departments within this company that could be like long term, you know what I'm saying? We were given coconut water if we wanted to, fruit baskets that were delivered fresh every single morning because our CEO and COO were like really invested in our physical health. They gave us a free membership to the gym that was like in our building right off of 17th, which you already know is near 16th Street Mall, girl. It's by far the nicest office I had ever worked in. This sounds all great, right? Good pay, good benefits, girl, being spoiled at work, having an HR director that understands that, you know, I don't want to just be put in this position and left there like everything's good across the board. Of course, things can't stay that way. This was the same job that I had my crazy ass manager, my supervisor, who was trying to meet me at clubs with her sister, spilling drinks everywhere, got shit-faced drunk, was trying to hit on my brother. I had to call her son that was literally my age. Hey, can you come pick up your mom from the club? Fast forward, and it probably was like 2 months into me working there. Supervisor, which at the time was the HR director that I interviewed with in the first place, she was my direct supervisor, y'all. And I freaking loved her. She did not micromanage me. She knew that I would get all my work done. She didn't have to like be right here. And if I ever needed anything, it was like an open door policy, and I just had the greatest relationship with her, okay? She was going on vacation to Hawaii with her daughter and like her mom. Goes on vacation to Hawaii, and then she comes back. She was probably back at work for maybe a week. Unfortunately, she ended up passing away. She was having a routine surgery, and it just didn't work out. I never really made a relationship outside of her as well as I did with her. She was the person that I answered to. She was the person that I turned in my timesheets to, like all of that, right? So when she passed, all of that was in the air, and nobody talked to me about it. I was pretty much flying solo. When it came to me turning in my timesheets, I actually started asking executives and department heads like, hey, can you sign off on this? Are you cleared? Are you cleared? Then they decided that it was smart to make this lady who was an executive admin, she supported the CEO, if I'm not mistaken, or the CFO. No, I think it was the CEO. I received that email from the executives letting me know that this was my new supervisor. I'm pretty sure I threw up in my mouth and then swallowed it and then threw it up again. Now, by this point, I would say that I had already been working here like a good 6 months. Like, it took forever for them to find somebody to be my supervisor, right? I had already established my routine, y'all. I knew exactly what I was doing. And let me tell you something. My office, and when I say my office, I mean the entire office, because it was my responsibility. My office was always immaculate. Everything was always stocked. My previous supervisor was not a micromanager. She let me have control over everything. The way that I functioned, the way that I processed, the way that I just did my job. She didn't have like a certain way that I had to do it. She just said, Nikki, you do it however you want to do it as long as it gets done. Like, that was it. It became an issue real fast. They made Veronica's funky ass my supervisor, because then, y'all, after that, after they gave her that title, she was all up my ass, up it and to the right. One day came around and I got there at 7:55. Every morning before I sat down at my desk, we had 2 kitchens that I was responsible for in this suite, right? You know, the little Keurig stand that has the pods in it. Fill up that stand so that when people came into the office, like, it was all nice and pretty and filled and everyone could have their coffee or whatever. I would get the fruit baskets that were delivered all set up and ready to go. I had my process. Because of this entire process, sometimes I wouldn't be sitting down at my desk until around 8:05 or 8:10. Right? Miss Veronica over here had an issue with that. She told me that I needed to arrive at the office at 7:45 every morning in order to set up for the business day and be at my desk by 8 a.m. sharp. Imagine having the hoe that you were like having to babysit while they were drunk try to tell you how to be punctual and how to do your job, and like that you've been doing well, might I add, for months and months and months. It made me so mad. I was like, bitch, what? At this time, I was holding down 2 jobs. This is when I was working at the bar at night and working here at this oil and gas company in the morning. This bitch bumped up my time to show up at work to 7:45. And when I tell you that she was there every morning to make sure that I was walking into the office at 7:45. It's like she got this like power high all of a sudden because she had never been anybody else's supervisor ever. Y'all get it. I couldn't stand her ass, okay? I talked to Veronica about this and I tell her, you know, this is what she and I had agreed on. You know, I was only supposed to be in this position for 3 months. I'd like to move forward with being considered to join somebody else's team because I'm overqualified for this position at the end of the day. She was like, yeah, you know, I completely agree. I think that you should be helping out in different departments, she was like, so whatever departments you want to help out with, if you have free time, as long as your responsibilities aren't hindered, I'm fine with it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I start emailing department heads from AP, from IT, from marketing, from HR. I like staying busy, makes your day go by faster. And also I was just dead set. I was not about to stay in this position. Fast forward a few weeks, I started helping out in accounting first, and I was helping them out with accounts payable and getting checks out at the end of the month. Then I started dabbling in marketing. I reached out to the marketing head. Now we're gonna introduce, we'll call her Lori. Lori was the executive admin for the marketing department, okay? She had been working in the marketing department for about as long as Veronica had been working there. They had started at around the same time. Lori ended up reaching out to me after I had this conversation with the marketing head. She was like, I'd like to take you out for a coffee this afternoon, you know, during your lunch hour, if you're available, to talk to you about some projects that we need your help on and blah, 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 right? In the building that we worked in, there was like a full coffee shop down on the first floor. So she wanted to go there for lunch. The minute I got this email, I got really excited because I just felt like this was the ball rolling in the right direction. Accounting was cool and all, but I knew that I could not do accounting every day, all day. It wasn't something that I wanted to continue to pursue. So when I got this opportunity to start helping the marketing department, of course I'm gonna go to the coffee shop with your girl. She buys coffee for me and we sit down and we start talking. What I noticed about this conversation is it wasn't really like a collaborative conversation. It was more so like an interview where she was like asking me questions about my background and my education and my experience. How was I able to get an internship at the county courthouse? And then she asked me if like marketing was my passion, how long I had been interested in marketing. At the time, I was more than willing to answer all of these questions, very open with her because I just wanted this opportunity so badly. But at the end of the motherfucking day, I don't understand the point of that entire conversation because she was nobody of importance, to be real, okay? She did not have the power to hire or fire anybody. She did not have the power to be conducting interviews. I wasn't being onboarded. Like, she wasn't my supervisor. There was no reason why I had to reiterate like my experience and everything that I had gone through previously for this job and being interviewed in the first place. I don't understand why this conversation even happened. After that interview with Lori happens, we go back to the office and everything returns to normal. Fast forward about another week, and I remember that I actually had to get a hold of Lori to ask her for projects because I still hadn't been given anything after that conversation with her. Emailed her and told her, you know, hey, don't forget, you know, I do have some free time. You know, if you ever have anything that you need help with, just let me know. Finally, she started coming to me, delegating responsibilities to me for the marketing department. And it started out really small. As a company, we had merch products, you know, there were conventions that we were involved in, corporate events that we had, you know, fundraisers that we were a part of that we needed merch for. Everything that you could possibly imagine, from iPad covers to mugs to pins to stylists to visors, backpack, everything with our name and logo on everything. We started delegating the responsibility of reordering merchandise to make sure that our merch closet was nice and full. Now let's talk about that merch closet. This closet was huge, okay? And like I said, we had everything under the sun. As time went on, Lori started letting me into that merch closet a lot more. When I would get deliveries in, like merch deliveries, she would go into that closet with me and we would organize it together. I say organized very lightly because when I went in there, it seemed like a huge fucking mess. There's no inventory on this closet whatsoever. She would look and be like, okay, how many pencils we got left? And she'd just kind of eyeball it and be like, maybe you should order 100 more. We need to be a lot more organized. And I know that oil and gas are making a lot of money, but if you continue to run things like that, you're really not going to know what you have and what you don't. And that's why inventory exists. So I used that to get in a little good with Lori, or so I thought. I offered to do inventory one time. I know that you're really busy. Would you mind if I just made a master inventory sheet on Excel and you have that you can update on a weekly or bi-weekly basis so you're not falling behind on what's in the closet? Really felt like I was getting in good with Lori, and she almost started like favoring me and like bringing me lunches and all of that. It took a full week because, as you can imagine, I couldn't just stay in that closet all day. I still had my job, so I could only go in there towards the end of the day for like maybe an hour, maybe if I was lucky. So it took a long time for me to go in there and like count everything by hand. So fast forward, I finally finished this project and still like merch products are coming in and it's just really hard to keep up with on a daily basis, and I don't know what Lori's ordering, and it just started becoming a big mess. So I decided that I was just gonna finish this master spreadsheet and just give it over to Lori, because that's what I said I would do. I'm just gonna do the initial legwork and then you upkeep it, pretty much, because guess what? I'm not a part of the marketing department. So I complete the master spreadsheet and I sent it over to Lori, and I remember finally being so happy to just get it off my plate, and here you go. The weekend goes by, Monday morning comes around, and I have an email sitting in my inbox from Lori stating that she wants me to be the inventory keeper, like, going forward. She straight up was like, I'm not about to take ownership of this spreadsheet. This is all you. You're gonna have to upkeep this. And I was like, I didn't sign up for this being an ongoing project. I said that I would help whenever I had time in different departments until I'm relieved of all of these other duties that I'm responsible for, that's actually a part of my job description. Like, I cannot do this all the time. You know, I told her my concerns about it, and she emailed me back and reassured me and was like, you know, you're just so great at it and I trust you completely and I know that you'll be able to make it work, and it's just something that I need you to take care of, and blah blah blah. She was not budging on it. She was not about to take ownership of it. It was mine. Like, there was nothing I could do, right? What do you do? Like, I want to get in good with this department and I'm not trying to ruin my chances, but like, damn girl, like I got another, like, whole other job description I got to figure out, make sure it isn't being hindered in any way, because like, that's my actual job. I end up taking on this project, like, long term, you guys, and that means that I'm in that closet pretty much half of the time that I'm at work all the time, okay? I wasn't at my desk. It wasn't because I was at lunch or I was in the bathroom. Nah, girl, it was because I was in that closet counting shit. As you guys can imagine, that takes up a lot of time. And I actually started getting people reporting my ass to Veronica, saying that I was never at my desk. Clients didn't have help when they first walked into the suite because the receptionist was nowhere to be found. Veronica ends up talking to me and she's like, hey, you know, what's going on? I'm getting these complaints. And I was honest with her. I was like, look, you're absolutely right, because I'm having a hard time being in two places at once, Veronica. Start telling her everything, and I'm like, you know, I've been taking care of this for like a few months now. It takes a lot of time on my end, and I told Lori that, and she was insistent that I take care of this responsibility, and I just don't know what to do. I was expecting Veronica to like step up and be like, okay, like, I'm your direct supervisor and nobody told me about this, and I don't want your job to be affected by this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take this off of your plate and tell Lori that she needs to find somebody else to help her with that. I thought that she was gonna say some shit like that. Nikki, you agreed to go ahead and help her with this project, so you are responsible for it, but you're still responsible for your desk, and you need to be there at all times. And if you ever need to get up from your desk, then you need to call one of the other admins and have them cover the desk for you while you're doing inventory. Hold on, wait a minute. You want me to call someone else and take them away from their job so that I can do something that's not my job? Had nothing else to say. I just had to figure it out and make sure both jobs got done, and that I was at the receptionist desk at all times during all of it. The responsibilities actually increased, you guys. It went from me just taking care of the inventory of that closet to me actually being the one to, you know, to order this merch, you know, put the designs on there online and make sure it looked right, and order samples and get them approved from Lori, and then, you know, get the shipment in and unpack the shipment and get the inventory for it, and then packages together. If we did have events, I was in charge of getting those packages together, and it just turned into a bigger thing. And before I knew it, I was questioning whether or not I was actually a receptionist, because to be honest, most of my day was just me doing marketing shit. I was well aware that this was happening. I knew that I was basically just doing marketing shit and getting paid a receptionist wage. I kept trying to talk to Veronica about it, and she was being childish and stupid as per usual. Then, you know, I was asking for a meeting to talk to Veronica about, you know, just updating her on the agreement that I had with my previous supervisor, and somebody needed to listen to me, because like, I didn't agree to this. Like, I didn't agree to even be a part of the receptionist position for this long, much less doing that and this shit. Like, no. So she finally told me, okay, let's set up a meeting, you know, we'll go into the conference room, we'll get all of this squared away, figure out what you're wanting to do. You know, I finally feel like I'm gonna be heard, and like, she's gonna understand me and get the ball rolling. As time went on and we would get closer to our meeting, something would happen. She had a big project that was due. She used the excuse that the CEO was calling on the other line. She couldn't talk about it right now. She couldn't make it to the meeting. She had a doctor's appointment. She had to leave early that day. We were rescheduling this meeting, seriously, you guys, like 3 or 4 times. Got fed up, and it got to a point where I was like, fine, if you're not gonna listen to me, somebody else is, and I'm gonna guarantee that you're not gonna like it. I decided to go over Veronica's head, I got a hold of the marketing head, which was Lori's supervisor, okay? And of course, because he was a department head, he was also, you know, a higher up than Veronica. So I didn't really give a shit about what she said. I was tired of her. I reached out to him via email and I just asked him, you know, short and sweet, like I had, you know, some interests in his department and I was wondering if he had any time to meet with me to discuss, you know, my interest in quite possibly joining his team or whatever. And he got me on his calendar to meet with him in a conference room literally the next day. He was really good at just like fluff. The premise of the conversation was pretty much, yeah, like you're great at this and we appreciate all of your work, but Nikki, you're just so good up at the front. You're just amazing at what you do as the receptionist. It's very hard to find somebody to be the face of our company. You always have the office immaculate and you always help out with like ordering, keep everything very organized, and we're all just so used to you fluffing up my ego about how great I am at my job. But like he was saying, you're so good at this job that I just don't feel like it's the right decision for me to take you out of it, because trying to replace you is going to be really hard. I'm not about to put up with it. No, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that I can't move up because I'm too good at my job. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. He thought that the conversation was gonna be ended with that. And I was like, no. Like, although I appreciate, you know, your compliments and your appreciation for my work, I still need to be told when I'm gonna be given the opportunity to move up, because as you and I both know, and I can provide you a copy, you guys, I even came with copies of my resume, okay? And I was like, here's a copy of my resume to let you know how experienced I am in different industries, and I know my worth and I know my skill set could be in a more prominent role elsewhere, but I don't want to go anywhere because I love this company. I'm invested, and I made a promise to my past supervisor that I would do my very best in this position, which I have. I feel like I'm being punished for being too good at my job. He said something along the lines of fiscal year is about to end. Once that ends, we will get the new budget for the new year and we will be able to onboard you as one of our marketing team members and be able to pay you the salary that you're looking for, and also have enough money to onboard another receptionist that I'm hoping you'll be able to train. I was like, okay, that sounds great. Why don't we go ahead and look at our calendars and schedule a meeting and talk about when we're going to be hiring somebody else, when I'm going to be training somebody else, and when I'll be joining your team officially. And I asked for that when I asked for like a specific date for us to get all this done, you know, after fiscal year ends and all of that other bullshit. And I asked, you know, like, when do I get to sit down with you and make these changes? His whole demeanor changed. And all of a sudden he went from very understanding and very nice to very short and dry and rude. And he was like, look, Nikki, he was like, right now, I just would like you to be on a probationary period. The position that I'm trying to put you in, and I think you would be perfect for, is social media outreach. He was like, I'd like to give you the username and passwords to our social media platforms. I want you to be posting on every now and then. I don't want to see how you do with that because I think that you might be a good fit. Until I see that though, I'm not going to make an appointment on my calendar to meet with you until I know how you do in that area and whether or not you can do that job, because honestly, that's pretty much the only position I have available for you. Another probationary period, another moment for me to showcase my work and what I can do and how much I can handle, and like another time. I'm doing this, you guys. I'm killing myself. I'm working so hard. I'm so tired. The receptionist position has, you know, really easy things, you know, that you have to take care of. There's also really time consuming and tedious things that you have to take care of. For example, when we got shipments, like any sort of shipments into the office, I had to deal with it and like unpack it or whatever. Like I said, we were a very spoiled office, okay? That came, you know, a bunch of deliveries and a bunch of things that had to be, you know, unpacked and stuff. So we had this huge Coca-Cola refrigerator that was a part of both break rooms. We had 2 break rooms on one floor. We would order case after case after case after case of different sodas. And when those big pallets, okay, cases of sodas would come in, I would have to open those pallets, open each case and take out each can and put them in the refrigerator one by one, facing the front so that it could look nice. We would get deliveries once a week, and so I would have to do that towards the end of the day. One day came around, we got a soda delivery. I'm in the kitchen, it's about closing time. I had already, you know, finished my receptionist duties for the day and my marketing duties for the day, and I was in the kitchen and we had just gotten this delivery, and I'm unpacking and opening, and I had this box cutter and I'm opening boxes and, you know, unpacking these sodas, filling up the refrigerator with soda. sodas, right? So my boss was really into herself. She was really into her appearance. She tried to work out as much as she could, and she would eat boiled eggs literally in the morning, at lunch, and right before leaving work. She would eat boiled eggs all the time, right? So she was always in the kitchen in there like eating her boiled eggs. So she finally rounds the corner. I see Veronica, and then I also see that Lori is with her. So they both come into the kitchen, and I'm still there, you know, just stocking the refrigerator. After a few minutes of talking, Veronica stopped talking and she like started sniffing around, and she was like, what is that smell? She was like, God, that stinks. Again, I'm not about to say nothing because they're not talking to me, so I'm on my own business, right? Lori starts looking around. She was like, I don't know. She's like, I smell that too. From where I'm standing, I can't smell anything, you know? So Veronica keeps like sniffing around and she's trying to find the source of the smell. And then all of a sudden, I hear Lori, it's fine. We'll just have Nikki look into it and clean it. You know that they're really good at cleaning kitchens. It's like genetic or something. Bitch, what? I'm sorry, Lori, what did you just say? I'm good at cleaning kitchens because of what? She started backpedaling real fast. I never see your desk a mess. You know, every time you take care of the kitchen, it's always so clean. I figured you could be the person that could help, you know, figure out what the smell is. Like, do you smell it? She tried to make light of it, but I was like, bitch, no, you said what you said. Like, well, actually, Lori, there's really nothing special that I do besides calling maintenance if it's a true issue. So if you don't have their number, I'll go ahead and email that to you. You guys have yourself a great night. And to be honest, this wasn't the first time, like, at all that I left livid, okay? Like, that just hit me in a special place, and I just didn't appreciate, like, her just wanting me to clean it up for some reason, because apparently we're just good at cleaning. And I guess like being fucking maids, I don't know. Back then when I would get mad, y'all, it would like just take over my entire day. It would take over like everything. And I just wasn't able to control my anger back then, and I got really mad. Like it bugged the shit out of me for days. What you talking about that we're just good at cleaning kitchens? It must be genetic. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Anyways, and that was the start of a very big problem that continued for months. Veronica and Lori weren't used to me acting that way. Whatever it was that they asked of me, I did it. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I was like their little bitch because y'all, I was trying to make it in this world, okay? Like, I needed money. This was the first time that I was like, no, y'all deal with it. And I sure did. I'd gone back to my desk. I had emailed Lori and Veronica the maintenance number. I did that to be petty. Like, y'all got fingers. Y'all can do it. I'm not about to be doing this shit for y'all, especially after that rude ass comment. Like, fuck all y'all. When you're a receptionist, because they depend on you at that front desk all the time, at least it was this way for me. Anytime I went to lunch, I had to have somebody cover the desk for me. So I went to lunch every single day at the same exact time because, you know, I have to respect other people's time when they're taking lunch or whatever, because I have to cover for me. It's like this whole thing. So I would take my lunch every day at noon on the dot. In it that I would have the person come relieve me, I would take off, go down the 16th Street Mall, go shopping, girl, go see some friends or whatever, and then come back to work, right? Part of my receptionist duties was to book conference rooms for meetings and stuff like that. So Lori started emailing me with these conference room requests every single day. That wasn't the weird part, because, you know, she was a part of a lot of meetings because she was in marketing. So like if it was about a fundraiser or an event or, you know, a conference or whatever, she would take minutes for the executive that she assisted. So she was always in and out of meetings too. I was used to her being a part of meetings, not actually heading up meetings. She was also asking me to order lunch for her from the company credit card, and I had access to these credit card numbers. Of course, I would order lunch for big meetings and trainings and seminars and stuff, but this was the first company that I ever worked at that they didn't keep like a tally of the company credit card. They asked for receipts, but they never asked like, oh, what is this for or whatever. It was just like, okay, you give these receipts over to AP and then that's it. Like, they never question anything. I start receiving these requests from Lori, and of course I do it. I block out the conference room for her, I order the food for her, and then I go to lunch and I mind my own business. Went from like once a week to a few times a week to literally every single day of the week that she was having me block out the conference room from noon until 1 every single day, having me order shit for her from Panera, from Chili's that was down the street, from Jimmy John's, from like different places. Every day, y'all, I was ordering lunch for her and someone else. It was a 2-meal lunch every single day. I never saw her go into this meeting. I never saw who was going into this meeting, what this meeting was for. When I would book the meeting, it was very general. She'd be like, it's a marketing meeting or whatever. But I would leave right at noon. So when she was going into the conference room, I would be leaving for lunch. So I never knew, like, what are these meetings for? Who's eating with her? And why am I ordering food every single day? Her ordering food was not the issue. The issue was every day that I got back from lunch. Part of my job was to come back from lunch, and because, you know, a lot of people had lunch meetings, and I would go to our conference rooms on our floor and make sure everything was in its place. I would push chairs in, you know, put wires back under the desk, make it look nice for the next meeting. Every day that she was having a meeting, every single day that I went into that conference room, all that food was still left out. Paper towels, old soda cans, like all of it, just all left out. Pieces of paper with notes written on it, just balled up and thrown on the floor. Like it looked like they tried to make it into the trash can and they didn't, and they just left it, and it was a whole mess, you guys. So I was going in there and I was cleaning up after her and whoever else that she was having lunch with, because it was definitely 2 people, because I was ordering 2 lunches, you know what I'm saying? It's respectful. And like literally, you guys, nobody ever did this, ever. I had meetings going on all day and everybody always was courteous and would pick up after themselves. The worst that they would ever do was like leave markers out or leave their chair out or something like that. But it was never, ever, ever, never. They never left food out for me except for this bitch. She started leaving food out every day, and every single day after lunch, I was coming in and cleaning up her food and whoever else's food that she was eating with. At first I was like, okay, maybe she just got really busy, maybe it just kind of went over, maybe she forgot, I don't know. I was trying to make up excuses, but then after a while you get tired of cleaning up after like people's food. Okay, I'm not a busboy, all right? Like I'm not here to be touching what the fuck you put in your mouth, all right? Like I'm not here to be touching your leftovers, man. That's nasty. This is not a part of my job description. So I started getting pissed. Like I'm not about to be in here cleaning up after you every day. I started noticing that when I would come back from lunch, that girl that was covering for me would be starving. Like she would be starving. She couldn't wait until I got back because she would go to lunch at 1. So I started noticing that, and I talked to her one day and I was like, hey, I was like, do you want to switch lunchtime? You take lunch at noon. You come relieve me at 1, you stay until 2, and I go to lunch. I was like, you know, I don't mind. So I could definitely wait. So that wasn't a big deal. But also, I was really interested to see firsthand what was going on in that conference room and who Lori was meeting with, because like I said, every day I was cleaning up after her and I just didn't understand why, and I just wanted to know. Honestly, I don't know who you need to meet with like that every single day and have lunch with, so I'm just gonna stay right here, take my lunch a little later, figure out this little mystery you got going on. I make this switch with this admin, and the next day we do this for the first time. Noon comes around, that other admin, she takes off for lunch. I'm sitting there and I'm just waiting, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, all right, she's got to be here any minute. I look at the calendar, I'm like, yep, she's got a meeting today, she's got lunch showing up or whatever. I see Lori walk down the hallway and she's walking towards me, and she has to walk past my desk to get to the conference room. She walks into the lobby, she starts walking past my desk, and she literally does a double take, and she's like, oh shit. And because she wasn't used to me being there at that time, because I'm always out at lunch, she looked like she had gotten caught or something. And I was like, she gives me this weird look, but she goes into the conference room anyway, right? No words were spoken. She did not say nothing to me. I didn't say nothing to her. She goes on her way. Like, okay, there has to be somebody else going in there because I ordered 2 meals as per usual. So who is it that she's meeting with every single day and having lunch with every single day? And then I'm cleaning up after the both of them every single day. A few minutes pass and I see this guy coming down the hallway, and I recognize him. I know him. He's really nice. We will call him Jake. Jake worked in the IT department, and he was actually a new hire. He hadn't been there for more than a few months. Anytime I got left out of my voicemail or my computer, he would be the person to help me. He was really nice, really quiet, kept to himself. Nothing really stood out about Jake, but he was just a really nice IT guy. He's walking towards my desk. So I like sit up because I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna come over here. He has a question or something. I'm looking at him and I'm like, hey Jake, how are you? And he was like, oh, I'm good, Nikki, how are you? The whole time he's talking to me, he's still walking like past my desk, and he was like, you know, how are you? Oh, good, good, that's good. He was like, I'm not used to seeing you right now. You haven't gone to lunch? And I was like, no, I'll go in an hour, no big deal. Well, I'm gonna go have lunch right now. See you later. Oh, okay. Well, enjoy your lunch that I've been ordering for you for like weeks now. But okay, it's just Lori and Jake in there, and I wait and I wait and I wait, and the whole hour goes by, and it was just them that went into this conference room. Okay, what could they possibly be meeting about? This is marketing and IT meeting together every single day for weeks, having meals together, and like, what for? There couldn't be any project that's going on. I would know about it. You know what I'm saying? Like this, none of this added up. Like it just seemed like a big waste of time. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit what y'all meeting about. I don't care when y'all are spending time. What I do care about is me having to clean up after not one, but both of y'all every single time y'all have lunch. So, cause I was here this time around, I decided to go up to the door of the conference room, and like the doors are made out of glass, right? So you can see right into the conference room. 5 minutes till I go over there and I knock on the door, and I'm like, okay, in my mind I'm like, okay, they should be wrapping up by now anyway, but I'm gonna go in there and make sure that they throw away their shit. Maybe if I'm standing right there, they're not gonna do that and they'll throw their own shit away. Like that was my whole point, right? Sure enough, they're just in there chilling. They've already finished their meal. Like it doesn't even look like they're working really. They're just like literally in there just chilling with each other. Hey, are you guys done? You got Lori looked like she wanted to kill me, and she was like, we have this conference room until 1. It's not 1 yet, it's 5 till. And that was like, no, I know, but I need to make sure that the conference room is all set up for the next meeting. I was like, you know, I'm about to go to lunch, so I just want to make sure this is taken care of before I leave. So are you guys done? You know, so I keep like, you know, looking at her like, you can go now. Like there's no reason. You're exactly right. You got 5 minutes left, less than that now, and like you need to pick up your shit because I need the conference room for another meeting that's gonna happen while I'm at lunch, bitch. So get your shit. Yeah, Nikki, we're getting our stuff right now. I take that as we're getting our stuff right now. So I start going around the room, you guys, and I'm like pushing in some of the chairs and I'm like straightening up. But I'm not leaving the conference room because I need to know whether or not you're actually going to do this shit to my face. Like, are you going to leave all this shit right here when I'm standing in here? Let's see. They start grabbing their things and Lori grabs her bag or whatever. And then Jake, he goes to grab one of the containers on the table to like throw it away. And Lori stops him and she goes, no, it's fine. We have Nikki. She's here and she's supposed to clean up the conference rooms. Right, Nikki? Oh no. Oh, this girl's still on this whole cleaning shit. She really is. She really is doing this on purpose. You guys, like she for real stopped him like mid throwaway, okay? Like he was for real trying to throw his shit away, and she for real stopped him and was like, nah, didn't I tell you? Like that's why we got Nikki's bitch ass here, like so she can be cleaning up after us. Like don't be throwing away your own stuff. Jake just looked at me and was like waiting for my response, and I was like, yeah, like I didn't know what else to say because like technically speaking she is right. Like I'm supposed to make sure that the conference rooms are like clean, but I've never had to do this. Nobody has ever been that disrespectful to just leave their shit out before. Telling and advising this other person to just leave their shit for me to clean up after them, and like she's pretty much putting this out there that like I'm basically the office maid. They left their stuff in there, you guys, and they walked out, and I had a moment in that conference room so fed up, and I was just like tired of being treated this way and being told stupid shit like that, not being taken seriously, even though I was such a hard worker and even though I was like always such a team player. I had been helping Lori out with so many projects, and for her to do some shit like that and embarrass me, and this is the second time that she has verbally let me know where I stand in her mind as far as my importance and my role in this office, and that is nothing more than that of a maid in her mind, and that was made very clear to me that day. You know what? This ain't even worth it. I'm about to start looking for another job. I can't do this. I'm not made for this. Like I'm not here to just be cleaning up after people all my life. Now my hair is bugging the hell out of me right now. It's just bugging me and itching me, so excuse me, I'm gonna put it up real fast. I'm sure you guys are like, where is the petty? It's coming. Okay, all this happens, I'm pissed, and that makes for a very, very petty Nikki. One fateful day, I was sitting at my desk as per usual, looking all cute, doing my job or whatever, and I see this guy. He gets off of the elevators, and I can see the elevators where I sit. Real tall guy, has a bouquet of flowers in his hand, and I didn't recognize him. It was obvious that he did not work here. He was like in jeans and a regular shirt, and he had these flowers, and he looked really lost, and so it was obvious that he was a guest, you know? So he sees me, and he comes into the lobby, and he comes to my desk, and he's a really nice guy, and he was like, hi, you know, my name is so-and-so, deal. My wife works here. He was like, and he goes, today's our anniversary and I just wanted to bring her some flowers really fast. The minute he says that, I get really excited and I'm like, oh my God, who's your wife? Like I can call her, I can have her come meet you up here. Like I'm all about love and like whatever. Oh my God, who's your wife? And he was like, no, he was like, don't worry about it. He was like, she already told me she had meetings all day today and that she wasn't going to be available until after work. And like, I just really don't want to bother her. I just wanted to let her know that I'm thinking about her and that I got her these flowers. I had access to everyone's calendar. So I was like, let me just see if she's in a meeting right now, because if not, I'm sure she would love to say hello to you and receive these in person, you know? I was like, so what's her name? Let me look up her calendar real fast. My wife works in marketing. Her name is Lori. Really? You're Lori's husband. Oh my God. Of course, I'm gonna let Lori know that her husband is here. Duh. Keep in mind, you guys, that conference room is literally feet away from me that his wife is currently in with some random dude, Jake, having lunch with. She done told him that she's busy all day. She just has meetings all day and he cannot come see her and blah, blah, blah. And so I just found that a little weird. He came like more towards the end of lunch. So I was like, you know what? It's no big deal. Her meeting was through lunch, but it's almost over. She's right in this conference room right here and I'm sure she would love to see you and say hello to you. I get up and I start walking towards that door of the conference room, and so he follows me like on the other side of the desk, and so we're going like this and he's like, oh, are you sure? Like, you think that'll be okay? And I was like, yeah, of course. I was like, you know, you absolutely need to see your wife. I was like, today's your anniversary, it's important. It's just like a lunch meeting. She has one every day just like this. I was like, so no big deal, no harm, no foul, let's just go say hello. The conference room doors are made out of glass and you can see right into them. So we like round this small corner and he and I both look into the conference room at the same time. The minute we looked in there, you guys, it was so sketch. I know what I saw and I know that Lori's mans saw the same thing, because when we looked into that conference room, Lori, she was like leaning on Jake, like right here, like they were in some sort of movie theater or something, and like she had seen us and she immediately like got up. Bitch was caught, okay? Like you could totally tell. Jake got up and was like, oh, who's that? And you could see him, I couldn't hear him, but you could see him like mouth to Lori, who's that? She didn't even respond to Jake. She was like, hi, honey, oh my God, hi. And she like gets up and she's like, you guys, she didn't even say nothing to Jake. She pretended like he wasn't there. For real, I was like, okay, you found your wife, gotta go. Right back to my desk. I was like, this ain't got shit to do with me. Saw what you saw. I know what I saw. I know what it looked like. Ain't my problem. Ain't my business. I need to go. Basically, in a nutshell, I sort of kind of like just threw the grenade and then ran away. The way that Lori reacted just verified what we saw. And so I knew that this wasn't gonna be good. I was petty, okay? But this isn't the pettiness that we're talking about in this story time. This is just one occasion of me being petty, all right? In this situation. Fast forward a few minutes, and by this time, the girl that's gonna come relieve me from my lunch, she's getting off of the elevator, right? So she comes in and I have like this weird look on my face and I'm like, hey girl, what's up? What's the matter? She's like, why are you acting like that? What did I miss? I was like, you know how Lori's been meeting with Jake every day? And she was like, for that meeting. So her husband just showed up and she was like, it's their anniversary, girl. He came with flowers. So I was like, you know, he just seemed kind of sad about not being able to see her. So I took him over to the conference room. Y'all, I didn't even finish that sentence and my friend was like, I know you did not. She was like, you did not take him over there. She was like, oh my God. Telling my friend this, and while we're talking, Jake looks like he's doing the walk of shame and he comes out of the conference room by himself and he doesn't even look over at us and he just goes down the hallway to his side of the office and disappears. At this point, it's just Lori and her husband in the conference room and they still haven't come out, right? So I like try to wait it out, but like now it's my lunchtime, my stuff, and I take off for lunch. I come back from lunch and I get off the elevator, and the minute I get off, I look at my friend's face, the one that's like covering for me, right? And she's sitting at my desk and like she looked at me and she went like this. She was like, what's going on? And I was like, what's the matter? What happened? Like, did I miss anything? And she looked at me and she just looked over at the counter and looked back at me. And I looked over and on my desk, you guys, there was the flower, the bouquet of flowers that Lori's husband had when he had walked in earlier that day. Those are your flowers now, apparently. I don't know what happened in there. She was like, I couldn't really hear what was going on. I just heard like a lot of mumbling. She was like, but they were definitely pissed when they came out. She was like, they weren't even talking when they came out of the conference room, and Lori went her own way, right? He was about to leave, and before he got to the elevators, he came back over here and gave me the bouquet of flowers and asked me to to give them to you. He said that you were really nice to him and he really appreciated you taking the time to let him see his wife for his anniversary. He told me to give these flowers to you. So and I laugh about it for a few more minutes, and then she takes off. She goes back to her desk and I go back to work. We had gotten sodas in earlier that day and they were waiting in the kitchen for me. I would have to wait until it was like more towards the end of the day when I had some free time to go in there and stock the fridges before the end of the day, right? As per usual, you know, stocking it up, facing the label front, whatever. And then I hear my boss and Lori coming down the hallway again. This was like normal for them. They were friends. They were just bitchy together. Their favorite place to stand was like by the sink. They would just like stand there and chit chat. Lori's right there and I don't want to look her in the eye because bitch, you done fought with your man because you got caught. You know what I'm saying? It was because of me, but you shouldn't have been doing some stupid shit like that. So Lori was like, and then Lori all of a sudden, without even saying anything, she starts walking towards me and I feel her and I notice her getting closer and closer and she's just like making her way right towards me. I let her get a few feet away from me and then finally I look up at her and she's not even looking at me. She's looking at the refrigerator. You guys, she steps literally right in front of me and she picks out a soda off of the top shelf and she gets it and she holds it and she goes, that's warm. And she puts it back and then she literally puts her arm all the way into the fridge and does this and like moves all of the sodas out of their lines and gets all the way in the back and grabs a soda, backs up and then leaves it like that. And she goes back over to the sink with my boss and like my boss saw this entire thing happen, didn't say shit. And so I look back into the refrigerator and the whole shelf is messed up because she like did one of these and was like being all rude as shit. Girls think that they can be petty with me and they always be thinking that they can out petty me. But let me tell you something. I know how to be petty. It was in this moment I decided that I was going to be pretty petty. I didn't even let her see that it upset me. I literally just looked at it and I smiled. And I was like, okay. I shut the refrigerator door. Be right back. I forgot something at my desk. Grab the flowers that are on my desk because they need to be given water, you guys, okay? They need to be put in a vase. And the vases that we have are in the kitchen, so I gotta go do it there. I'm literally carrying them like a pageant girl, okay? I'm carrying them like this. So I walk into the kitchen, y'all, with this huge bouquet, and I know that Lori recognizes it because her husband had walked in with the same exact bouquet earlier that day. My boss doesn't even like pay attention. She's like, whatever. But Lori, she sees those flowers, you guys, and she just stops. Guys, she crossed her arms and she just looked at me and she was like, sorry, excuse me, can I get in that cabinet right there? I just need a vase for my flowers. She watches me get the vase and y'all, I'm doing this all real slow. I'm like, vase, oh what a pretty vase, let me put some water in it. I like put the water, I get like warm water, open up the flower food, I pour it and drizzle it in the water, open up the flowers and I cut each of the stems and I put each rose in there one by one and make the bouquet nice and big. Y'all, when I tell you I sat there for like a good 10 minutes in front of this girl just putting together my entire bouquet in a vase in front of her face, the same bouquet that came from your husband, bitch. And guess what? I am now about to enjoy them every single day for like a good week, girl, because you thought that you were going to be petty with me, and I'm tired of you treating me like this. I tell you, those things lasted for at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks on the top of my desk for everyone to see. And just to make it a little bit worse, when people ask me where those flowers came from, I'm not here to lie, okay? I'm here to be a pew-pew straight shooter. They came from Lori's husband. Unfortunately, things didn't last a whole lot longer at this job. Once I start playing petty games at my job, it's because I'm planning on moving, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't be petty with your coworkers if you plan on staying. But I planned on piecing out anyway because they were wasting my time. They were not taking my skills seriously. They were not allowing me to grow. They were just trying to use me to get me to do more marketing shit without paying me that money. I had to get in my petty ways before I left. So if you continue to treat me that way and I got the chance to be petty, I'm gonna be petty and I'm gonna hit you where it hurts. I know a lot of you guys would be like, why didn't you go to HR? Why didn't you tell somebody and report her for like these different things that she was saying? Because like I had been trying to get my promotion here for months and months and months. Y'all think that they were gonna listen to me about my feelings being hurt over Lori? Like every person that I was telling about like Lori keeping shit out and like me having to clean up after her didn't see it as a big deal. I saw it as a big deal because I had never done stuff like that at any of my other places of work. Because of that, I don't know if I would deal with the situation any differently now. Look, I've grown in a lot of ways, but I'm not done growing, okay? And I'm woman enough to admit that some of my petty ways, my bad habit of being petty really does die hard. And I would like to think that, you know, now I would deal with this differently and probably go to a higher up if I had somebody that would listen to me. I just felt like she was going out of her way, so I went out of my way. That is a story about the time that I was pretty petty with my coworker and her husband. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, girl, what you doing? You don't want to miss out on story times, all these series, my Ask Nikki new videos. Let me know your thoughts down below. I know that I was really immature, and I know that I was super petty, but like, I'm not trying to argue that. I know that. I know this. Thank you guys so much for coming to chill with me for story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Peace out.